The funny thing about being a weed addict is you don't remember anything. So I honestly don't remember exactly when I quit. All I know is that it was in the month of May, toward the beginning. So we have May to June, June to July, July through August, and now we're on to September. So I have not ingested any THC or cannabinoids of any kind for 4 months. And I guess that's a milestone. I guess that's a lot farther than a lot of people get. But I honestly feel like it hasn't been that long at all. And I'm just beginning on my path to sobriety. But in this video today, I'm going to share what has changed in my life over these last 4 months and give you a glimpse maybe into what you can expect to see in your own life once you reach that 4-month point. I'm going to go through it month by month, detailing what I remember, and it's an increasing amount that I remember every month about my journey. The only issues with withdrawals I had this time occurred during the first month, and they were very minimal. So during that first month, all of the enhanced feelings of pleasure were replaced by, and this is a word I just learned recently, by anhedonia. That means basically the lack of pleasure. I didn't have any serious withdrawal symptoms this time. I think mainly because I was able to control my shame enough to not have the knee-jerk reaction of just going cold turkey. I was able to take a more gradual approach to quitting this time. So I didn't have the usual withdrawal symptoms I've experienced when I've quit before. And the first time I quit, after I first really started getting going with concentrates years ago, even the slightest aroma that was in any way foul or negative would make me start vomiting for the first 48 hours. I eventually had to just kind of soak a towel with peppermint oil and hold that close to my face. I think I did something with charcoal too. And then for weeks after that, I had no appetite. I would try to eat, and it was, as they say, like ashes in my mouth. And this is why I really recommend that if you are a heavy user, and for me it was 300 to 500 milligrams a day. So a large amount, right? Like sometimes I was able to cut down to like 200 or so. But that was for the space of 3 to 4 years, nonstop. And if you are in that kind of situation where if you've been using more than 100 milligrams, let's say, for the space of more than just a few months, I don't care what people who are coping, I don't even care what scientific studies say, you're gonna go through withdrawals, physical withdrawals. And if you make that into a horrible experience, you are more likely to relapse because you'll have gone through this horribly traumatic experience losing it, and you'll have done it like instantly and dramatically. It will backlash against you and you'll miss it more. I credit so much of this to Jesus Christ, but I also credit a lot of my success this time with the fact that I did it gradually. So the anhedonia passed within a couple weeks, and I was feeling basically normal by mid-May or early June. The remaining problem was, though, that my brain had only just begun to repair itself. What I know from cannabis science is that when you're a heavy user like that, you can still have large concentrations stored in your fatty tissues for up to 30 days. So your body itself will continue to get you high in a low-grade way until all of those deposits make their way out of your system. And THC goes through some chemical changes in the body, so it's not exactly the same, and it degrades over time. But the point is, your endocannabinoid system and your brain won't have a chance to even start to repair themselves properly for at least a month after you quit. And the first time that I felt like I was legitimately clear-headed was about a month afterward. But that was when the enhanced anxiety really hit. But before we get to that, I want to talk about dreams a little bit. Because for most heavy THC users, even relatively light THC users, you stop dreaming. Like occasionally you might have a dream you remember, but not on a nightly basis. And for the first month, probably, my dreams were almost all, like, not necessarily like horrible explosions and monsters or anything, but like severe feelings of discomfort or fear. Just scenarios that were really disquieting. Things where I'd wake up and just be like, damn, that was so messed up. I feel like I have PTSD now. And that is unfortunately to be expected. I don't really know the scientific reasoning for this, but it is like your dreams just kind of build up inside you. It's just kind of like pushing them under the rug, and then it all just comes spilling out when you stop using. But that passed within about 2 weeks. And then within about a month, I was back to basically normal brain processing. But that was when I started to get incredibly anxious about everything. So, finances, the future, my wife, my children, my only YouTube channel back then, which, by the way, if you have not subscribed to my gaming channel, Spopes, please do. I have that channel, and then this here, Spopes TV. Please do subscribe to both. But yeah, it was pretty crippling, honestly, because the one thing that I think cannabis does, and there's a trade-off, of course, it's not like you just get it for free, but it does just shut down all your anxiety and give you this supreme sense of confidence. And so the anxiety came flooding back, and even without cannabis, I was so anxious that it made me paranoid. And one way that I countered this, and also with the anxiety, of course, depression came back, where I'd sit there just feeling like everything was hopeless and not wanting to do anything. But there's some, quote from the saint or in the Bible somewhere, again, I'm a new Christian, so I don't remember what it is exactly, but that when you feel despair in your soul, counter it by doing good works. And so this is when I really started getting into like home improvement and repair and just maintenance, just honestly cleaning, doing the dishes, running the robot vacuum, cleaning up after my wife and kids, cleaning the bathrooms. And also, I feel like to a degree, that was just kind of a long time coming, because I've been letting basically my wife just do that the whole time, while she was also caring for me and for the children and doing all this work. I was laying that on her too, not even cleaning up after myself. And so I feel like that was part of my penance there for my sins, was doing that hard work. And my urge and ability to do that really started kicking in about a month after I quit. And then it was about 2 months after I quit that the anxiety and the depression really started to clear out. And sometimes it comes back to a degree, but that was also when I got my drive back. And my ability to really just like analytically focus on reality and figure out what needed to be done to become a good decision maker. To, I guess, regain or even build leadership qualities that I just don't think you can be a heavy cannabis user and be a leader of any kind. I think that those are mutually exclusive traits. So that started to come back about month 2. Around the same time, the depression and anxiety stopped being crippling. I found I was able to focus and make decisions, honestly, probably better than I ever had before. And now, in like month 3 and 4, is when I'm finding that I'm enjoying things the same amount, or even more than I did when I was using cannabis. So the anhedonia has completely gone away. The lack of pleasure. And also, this just happened really in the last couple weeks, actually. I have my confidence back. For quite a while, I was really awkward around people. My main social interaction every week is at church. I would just kind of avoid everybody. And before, I was kind of this outgoing, self-assured, almost boisterous kind of person. So I know I offended a lot of people. And if you're one of them, I'm sorry. But all I can say is that I've been going through issues with addiction. And I've been honest with that with a lot of you at church, and I appreciate you. I know some of you watch the channel, so my heart goes out to you guys. I've been reconnecting with family members who I snubbed or ghosted. I need to do more of that. Maybe that's in month 5, right? But what I'm basically trying to say is that it's a gradual process that has unfolded for me, where, first of all, I regained my power to dream. Then I regained, well, kind of in a bad way, but my depression and anxiety. But then I overcame that, regained my leadership qualities, and now I actually have more confidence than I ever did when I was using cannabis, because in the back of my mind, I always felt like, well, I only feel this confident because of the weed. What am I without it? And I was very afraid of losing it because I didn't want to lose the feeling that people liked me and that I was funny and charismatic. I didn't want to let that go. I was afraid I'd become this anxious, introverted recluse again. But that only happened for a short period of time. And really, just to sum all this up, or to put the capstone on it, I really think this only happened this time because of the grace of Jesus. I think that this time, Jesus gave me the power to recover all these gifts and important qualities that I'd lost. And I just, honestly, I don't know. Maybe you're an extremely strong-willed person, but I don't think that true recovery is possible without belief in some higher power. I grew up with grandparents who actually toured the world giving speeches at AA conferences because of what had happened to my father. So maybe I'll get into it in more detail in a video here, but he died from drugs when I was very small. And my grandfather blamed himself because he was an alcoholic and abused him. And so his penance was helping make sure this didn't happen to other people. And core and central to AA, which, by the way, was massively inspired by Carl Jung, is this idea of giving yourself over to a higher power. And by the time AA was founded, there was already a de-Christianization of the West. So they couldn't just say, give yourself over to God, because people would reject it more likely. They'd be more likely to reject it. And maybe that's still the case. I really do think that it involves giving yourself over to Jesus Christ specifically. But if you're not ready to make that leap, give yourself over to a higher power. And I think that is really the secret sauce, the secret ingredient that will make this work. So I just wanted to share my story here, 4 months sober. the stages I've gone through of recovery. And yeah, it has no more allure to me, no power over me. And I think with the help of Christ, that within a few months or less, you'll be in the same situation I am, no matter how long you were using. I think there is a way out. I hope that I at least showed you a piece of that way out here today. Please do subscribe for more content. Check out the video linked in the end screen here if you can't wait for more. And I'll be back soon. I'll see you next time. God bless you all.